what strength do you believe that you have that you can share with the Vergers Guild?
I believe I have the skill of humility and the ability to share God's word and the love of God for all our parishioners and family, and the ability to lead and to provide spiritual strength to the guild.
Excellent. As a verger, you have been appointed to train new acolytes. One of the adult Eucharistic ministers always makes a disgusting face when an acolyte makes a mistake, making them feel uncomfortable and is thinking of quitting. How would you guide the Eucharistic minister and the acolyte?
Well, first of all, I would take the acolyte and I would explain to the acolyte that everybody learns the way to do things in their own way, and there really is no right and wrong. And some people may have opinions on what is right and wrong in their mind, but it doesn't necessarily mean that is the correct way. And I would encourage them to just keep learning, and I would give them the guidance that they need to help better themselves, so they can become a better acolyte and not fear what other people are thinking. As for the lay Eucharistic minister, I would take that person aside and I would explain to them pretty much the same thing, and that I would ask them to try to restrain from uh, the face making, and because that can come across as offensive or belittling to people, especially to the younger people that we're trying to train and show them the love that we have, and that we're all part of the family and we all need to work together and just help each other out, help the acolyte, instead of making them feel bad, just help them.
Very good.
Okay.
On a Sunday morning, it's 5 minutes before the service, which is Holy Communion. The priest is obviously running late. You have made several attempts to contact the priest, but unable to connect. As the head verger, how would you handle the situation?
Well, as the head verger, you always have a plan B, and my plan B has always, as the head verger of the church, I've had to use this a few times, and I know in my parish who are the priests who are uh, retired priests that are still allowed to practice in our diocese, deacons. So I would then execute my plan B, which would be to approach one priest or a couple or the deacon, whatever the case might be, explain the situation and that we need to proceed. We certainly are concerned about where our rector is, but we need to move for the service and start on time. And that's what the rector would expect. And so working with the clergy, we would begin the services and keep things on schedule the best that we can. But as a verger or a head verger, you have to be prepared for these things. And if you're in that position of the verger and head verger, you are essentially the right-hand man to or the right-hand person to the rector. And so you know how they're working and you know what the expectations are and how to execute and make things work. And the parish family also looks up to you as that person to help in these situations.
Excellent. Today, you noticed new visitors have attended the service. As verger, what steps would you take?
Well, probably the most important thing is to make them feel part of the family. And that means you welcome them into the church. You're right there at the entrance of the church before the service starts. You're in a position where you can make them feel welcome. You can introduce them to ushers. You can show them to their seat and a pew. Introduce them to the people around you that may be sitting with them, because as a verger, you pretty well know everybody in the church. And uh, introducing them, making them feel part of the family is very important for a newcomer. And then after the service, you make a point to introduce them to the clergy, take them to parish hall afterwards for coffee and tea. If there's a meal, invite them over, introduce them to as many people as you can, answer their questions, make them feel comfortable and welcome. That's the important thing. Make them feel welcome and part of the family, because they are.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Vaughan. I appreciate your opportunity to speak with me.